What's up, everybody? Can you hear me all right? Hello? Yep, that's Fred. He'll be hanging out tonight. Alright, great. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining tonight. We've got a whole bunch of stuff on tap tonight. Oh, look at this! I got Bear Brass Mods and Faceless in the house. I'm good to see you guys. I'll be reviewing your stuff a little later. Let's see. What do we got going on tonight? So, we got a bunch of giveaways as usual. A couple hardware, a couple juice. Gonna talk about some new mods that are coming out. We're gonna talk about a couple interesting ones coming from all over the world, actually, and some from the US as well. We're gonna go over the various different kinds of mesh, what to use when, at least in my experience, and like gravity wicking versus capillary action, tilting, not tilting, solid versus straw wick, that type of thing. So then we're going to review the Synthesis by Faceless, who's in the room. We're going to review the Bear Brass mod, and then we'll do our usual finish the show off with a little bit of open discussion. So should be a good show, hopefully. Hopefully I can keep you guys entertained for 2 hours. So, before we do anything else, I'm going to start off with a giveaway from Alice in Vapeland. Now, this is interesting. Not going to give away juice from Alice in Vapeland today. We're going to give away a brand new SmokeTech RDA. Now, if you're not familiar with the SmokeTech RDA, it is basically SmokeTech's clone of the ERA by Budsworks, the easily rebuildable atomizer. It's a dripping atomizer. You can see that little tiny picture right over here. That is the SmokeTech RDA. So if you're looking for a rebuildable dripping atomizer, one that's brand new to the market, they're just coming in from our wonderful neighbors in China now. So I don't even think Alice in Vapeland's got them up on the website yet, but they're letting me give one away tonight. So all right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna refresh our little giveaway meter here. We'll do a number from 1 to 50 to start here. So when I say go in chat, type a number between 1 and 50, and then we'll let the random number generator decide who wins. And whoever wins, I am going to PM you my email address, and if you could send me an email with your shipping address, I'll send that over to Alice in Vapeland, and they will send this right over to you. So, ready? Numbers roll in bunches on the chat. Alright, give it another few seconds. See if anyone else wants to throw a number in. Oh, no problem. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Alright, and stop. Let's see what we got. And the winner is my favorite number, 42. Do we get any 42s? 42, Shoe Queen. Congratulations. So close, vaping mama. Alright, Shoe Queen, I'm going to send you a PM with my email address. Like I said, just shoot the your shipping address over to my email, and Allison Vape Lane will send that right over to you. Congratulations. There we go. Alright, so let's talk about some mod news. Actually, you know what? Before we start off with the mod news, let's talk about the petition. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, there is a petition up on whitehouse.gov right now. In fact, today is the last day to sign it if you're interested. Let me actually copy the link real quick. That is the link to the petition. We actually hit our goal already. That's the big news. Today's the last day of the petition, but we hit the goal a couple days ago. 26,700 and something we're up to now. Might be higher than that at this point, but we hit the 25K a couple days ago. It's great news. Basically means the FDA's got to listen to us. So, yeah, that's really good news. Now, if you haven't signed the petition yet, you know, obviously I can't force you to, but I would highly recommend it. Just click on that link, and you have to fill out a little registration form. It's real quick, and then you verify your email, and then you can sign it, and you're done. So, let's see what else we've got. The Origin. I'm gonna butcher this like I do with all the foreign names, but Nagyorbi of Hungary has this coming out fairly soon. It's a new Genesis style atomizer. It's got, I'm pretty excited about it because it's got a lot of features that I like. It's got 1.2 mil air hole, which I think is about my sweet spot. Sometimes I go a little bigger than that, but I don't like to go too much smaller than that. It is not too big, 62 millimeters tall, not including the 510 connection, so it's not tiny, but it's not gigantic. It is, it's got a 3.5 millimeter wick hole, which is huge. So you're not going to need to set up a U-wick in it, which not a huge deal, but it's nice, you know, if you're on the go and you need to throw a wick together real quick for whatever reason. It's a lot easier if you can set up a straight wick. However, you can set it up with a single, dual, or a U-wick, depending on you know, your preference and how you want to set it up. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a pretty good sized juice capacity too. I didn't see the juice capacity listed over on VaporWall when I was looking at it, but it does look like it's a pretty good size. And if you're not familiar, you can head over to VaporWall and check it out. It's not up yet, but it will be fairly soon from what I understand. Now, this next one I'm also super excited about. This is so cool looking. Alright, so this is the Genie Cube, okay? It looks ridiculous. Every one of these is unique looking. They all have some kind of different design. For the Origin, I'm actually not sure what the price is going to be on that. I don't think the price point's been set yet. The price on this guy is 170 bucks. This is the one from Team Rampage Mods, who are out of Korea. This is the Genie Cube. I am going to be getting one of these. The new Genie Cube has the DNA 20 in it, which I'm very interested to try out. I am, you know, pretty much a mechanical mod vapor at this point. However, the DNA 20 is definitely intriguing. It's made with anodized aluminum case. It's not as big as it looks. It's 85 millimeters tall, and then the base is 25 by 25, so it's not gigantic. So it's goofy as hell looking though, and I love it. There's something about it, how ridiculous it looks, that I really enjoy. The uniqueness of it. I mean, it looks like it. I don't know. It looks like it fell off the short bus. Like it's kind of stupid, but awesome at the same time. So you definitely are not going to mistake that for another mod. Except maybe it looks a little bit like the TARDIS, maybe. So, but yeah, very excited about that. Like I said, it's got the DNA 20, very unique design. I'm going to be getting one. There may still be some available. There is a list over on Vaporwall. There is also a Facebook group for it where you can sign up there. Last I checked, last I saw this morning, there were still 10 available out of the 25. So if that's something that you're interested in, you did fall off the short bus, T-Bowl. I forgot about that. Sorry to offend. Yeah, it does. It looks like the kid from the Goonies made it. Exactly. He keeps it in his fanny pack and presses a button, and the thing shoots out and squirts vapor in his face. But yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And the DNA 20, very interested in that too. So that should be interesting. Let's see what else we got here. This is the Angel Telescoping Drip Tip by Kierfanis. So I really liked the bamboo drip tips. Yes, the DNA 20 is a chipset. Yep, it's like the DNA 12, but it goes up to 20 watts, and it's got some new user interface. I believe it's an OLED screen, and it's got a lot more information on the display. So should be cool. And I think they're up to build D now. So I know it's no longer a beta product. But anyway, this is the Angel Telescoping Drip Tip by Kierfanis. It's available over at GR Modders. Hold on a second, I'll get you a link. That's grmodders.com. That's where all of Kierfanis' stuff is. That's their homepage anyway. That's his actual website. Some of his stuff is for sale over at Avid Vapor as well. But these are 304 food grade stainless steel telescoping drip tips. Now, I really liked the they were called the bamboo drip tips that Budsworks makes. I haven't seen them for sale anywhere in the US. I've only seen them available through the Budsworks group buys on Facebook. But he's the guy that makes his group's the people that make the ERA and the Hornet. He's actually got a Genesis style atomizer that's going to be coming out fairly soon as well, called the Talibata. I think I showed it on the mod news a couple weeks ago. But anyway, I really like those drip tips because they're designed like this, where you can take a drip tip and attach another drip tip to it, attach another one to that, and just make the drip tip as long or short as you want to, depending on the mod. So, like, just for example, if you have a mod that has a tapered top, like an AC9 or a Zen or something like that, or a Tsunami, you might want something with a really small drip tip because it's already got a taper to it, and you don't need it to be too long to get too far away from your mouth. So if you want to extend it, you can. But anyway, I think it's a cool idea. I'm happy to see that somebody else is doing it other than Budsworks. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll grab a couple. I don't know, we'll see. Let's see what else we've got. We've got new from the man in the room, or one of the men in the room, the Bear Brass Mod Steampunk. So, very excited about this one. It's going to be available in polished or brushed. And the one over on the far left, you can see he did some, he did a premature patina technique using some kind of acid, vinegar, or something like that. He could probably pipe up, because he's in the room, and tell you how to do that. But They look awesome. Really excited. That list is up on Vaporwall as well, and I think over on Core Vape. I don't know, Bear, if you can chime in and let us know if there's any still available. I don't know if the list is closed already or not, but yeah. And it's, you know, I mean, it's got a copper tube and brass everything else, so it's gonna hit like a truck. So very excited. That's actually when I'm using the brass version right now. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, that one's awesome. So it's made with oxygen-free copper. Basically the same design as the brass one that I'm going to be talking about. It does have the air channels cut in the top, so but it's a flat top with air channels. So if you want to use something like you know, a Genesis style and you want it to fit flush, it can, just like with the brass version. And you know, if you do want to use something that's got air holes in the 510 base, you can use that as well because it's got the air vents. So let's see what else new from another American modder, Doc Dave. So Doc has a couple lists that are going to be going live very, very soon. There's a group buy going on Facebook right now, but I believe that's closed. But he's going to have a list going live over on Vaporwall very soon, and probably Core Vape as well. And that is for the one that is above me to my left, your right. This guy right here. That's called the steam turbine. Now that's just a render that you see right there. But I have seen the final version, at least photos of it, and it pretty much looks exactly like that. Really cool looking design. It looks like you know, he basically took the Bliss and made some improvements to it, reducing the top chamber. I believe it's going to have I think it's got 4 small air holes. It's really designed to be set up with a dual wick. And it's got 2 vertically aligned air holes on both sides. I think it might just be 1 on each side. I might be getting that confused with the Mini B that I'll talk about in a sec, which I know has the option of either. But it's going to be available in stainless or titanium. And yeah, really excited. Looks awesome. I should be getting one fairly soon. Excuse me, sir. No, you can't drink my water. Get out of here. Now the one above me to my right and your left is the Mini B. That is a, I believe it's a 16 millimeter diameter, stainless steel, polished. It's going to come with 2 different caps on it, which I think is interesting. So you'll be able to use it with either 1 air hole on each side for the dual wick setup, or 2 stacked air holes on each side. Which is going to provide you obviously with more vapor because you're going to have more airflow over the wick and coil. So you know, depends on whether you like a tight or an airy draw. Really, really cool looking though. It's kind of at least it appears to me as like a cross between a Hellfire Mini and a Bliss, which is not a bad thing. Both of them are very, very nice devices, so really excited about that. And yeah, like I said, there's a couple group buys going on right now on Facebook in the APV group on Facebook. I believe they are both closed at this point, but there's going to be lists going live for these very soon. And the lists are not going to be production lists. They're actually going to be basically as soon as the list closes, you pay and it ships, because they're going to be it's going to be a list for the 20 that he has left over from production. So so that's very exciting. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I had for mod news tonight. That's Fred news. I'm going to take a vape and then we'll do another giveaway. Bear Brass, I'm selling mods for you, bro. This You're probably, anyone who hasn't already bought and paid for one since the show started might after I do my review. I like this thing a lot. I better get a commission, bro. Maybe you buy me a beer when I come out to Albuquerque. You know, Eric, I don't know that he'd be into that. But you know, if that's what you're into, go for it. Yes, it is a bottom button. It does not have a lock switch though, but it's not a bad thing, and I'll explain why. Let's see. Let's do the giveaway first. So this giveaway is from my good friend Randy over at RTD Vapor. So as you can see in the center of the screen, that is an AGA-T. Excuse me, sir. The AGA-T is a Genesis style rebuildable. It is straight from China. Works pretty well though. Out of all the clones type Genesis style atomizers I have used, I think the AGA-T is the best one. So let's see, I'm gonna do a refresh here, and let's see here, we'll do 1 to 50 again. This is actually the screw top one. This is the knurled screw top AGA-T. So this is coming from RTD, and same with the last giveaway. If you win, just you'll get a PM from me with my email address. Send me an email with your shipping information, and I'll send that over to RTD Vapor, and we'll get it out to you. So when I say go in chat, pick a number from 1 to 50, and that's better. We're getting more numbers this time. Alright. A few more seconds and then I'm going to stop. And stop. I'm glad you're enjoying the music too. I hope it's not too low. It's so much louder in my ears than it comes through on the audio in the channel, so I can't turn it up anymore. I won't even be able to think. What's up, Ja? Alright, let's see who the winner is. We've got 34. I saw two 33s. Let's see if we got a 34. There's two 33s and a 35. Two 35s and two 33s, but no 34. Alright, so Lady Lily Boo, Wicked Vapor, Merlin, and Vaping Mama. All of you guys, I'm going to have you pick a number from 1 to 25 when I say go in chat. Hold on. Yeah, 4-way. Crazy. Alright, when I say go, pick a number from 1 to 45, the 4 of you that, or I'm sorry, 1 to 25, the 4 of you that were tied here. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. There we go. Come on, guys, roll off. There we go. Wow. Almost picked the same number. Alright, let's see. Winner is 22. So Lady Lily Boo with the 18. Congratulations. I'm going to send you a PM right now. And This is my email address. Just shoot me your shipping address, and Randy will send that AGA-T over to you. Congratulations. Alright. So, what do we got next? What do we got next? Next up is... Okay, so next up is all about mesh. Alright? Hold on one second. I forgot to grab one thing for the show. I'll be right back. This will just take me maybe 2 seconds. Sorry about that. So, all about mesh. This is my mesh rack. 200, 325, 400, 500. The 200 I got free in an order from the mesh company in the UK. So, what does it mean? What do the numbers mean? What do the different thread counts mean? How do you build a wick? Or, well, I'm not going to tell you how to build a wick. We did the tutorial for that not too long ago. But, you know, solid wick versus a straw wick. You know, 200 through 500. I won't talk about 625 because I actually haven't tried 625 yet. Although, real quick, a sneak peek of something that we're going to talk about next week. What is this? Stainless steel rope? What? What? We won't talk about that tonight, though. That's a surprise. So, well, not a surprise, but you'll see. We'll talk about it next week. Hold on, I'm choking to death. One moment, please. Jeez. Water does not belong in the lungs. So, oh, thanks, Nadia. I appreciate that. But yes, stainless steel rope. We're going to talk about that next week. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll get to the synth in a little bit. That's up next, don't worry. So, mesh. 200, 325, 400, 500. What's it mean? It's the thread count. Most of you know that already. So the higher the number, the more threads per inch. The difference between the different types of mesh really varies depending on who you ask. So I am going to go by what has been my experience, and yeah, I'm not going to get into 625 just because I actually haven't tried 625. I should have some arriving in the mail tomorrow, though. I've been pretty content with the 200 through 500, so I haven't really had a reason to buy it, but I'm going to give it a whirl anyway. So, yeah, same here, Keegan. So, the higher the grade, like I said, the tighter the mesh is woven together. And what that does is, this is again in my experience, it gives you better capillary action. I've seen a lot of people that talk about using different size mesh for different juice thicknesses, VG versus PG. You know, 325 is better for VG, 400 is better for PG. In the testing that I've done and the experience that I've had, it doesn't make a difference as far as the thickness of the juice. That's been my personal experience. What does change how well it wicks is what is you know, the material that you use and how you roll the wick. Doesn't matter what the juice is. The 500 gets, or well, 625 would be better, I'm assuming, but I haven't tried it yet. 500 gets the best capillary action out of all of them, because as you go up, you get better capillary action. And what that is, it's basically like, think of it as anti-gravity wicking, essentially, to put it in like layman's terms. So if you have, you know, a wick sitting in juice, the higher the grade of the mesh, the faster it'll wick upward. So if you want to set up a wick that's going to not require tilting, then you're going to want to use a higher grade of mesh. Now, depending on the wattage at which you vape, you may not be able to get it to wick well enough for high wattage vaping without setting it up for tilting. Now, that also depends on the design of the atomizer. Certain atomizers do wick a little bit better, but anyway. Now, the opposite is true for gravity wicking. So if you are using a top-fed Genesis like the AMR or the Cyclone and the Tsunami, and you know there are other top-fed Genesis as well, it's been my experience that the lower grade mesh works better, and the juice will wick down the wick faster if you have the larger holes in the mesh like you do with the lower, coarser mesh. So if you want to, like I said, set up a top-fed Genesis style atomizer and get better wicking, if you're not getting fast enough wicking, you might want to use a lower mesh grade. Also applies to if you want to set your atomizer up to tilt wick. So, like what I've done on here, I actually had a U-wick on here before, but I changed it up and I set it up with a wick that's really better designed for a tilt. Now, let's see if you can see this here. But see, it's got a great big hole down the center of the wick there. I'm going to talk about that in a second too. So this is really for wicking by gravity. Now, why would you want that versus something that's going to wick, you know, via capillary action? So it doesn't matter how you hold it. You can just hold it, you know, at a 45-degree angle or whatever, rather than having to tilt it. Well, depending on the atomizer, like I said, and depending on the size of the wick hole, you know, a smaller wick hole, you're not going to get as much capillary action, obviously, because there's less wicking material that fits into that hole. You may want to set up a tilt so that you can go lower on the ohms on your coil and have a higher wattage vape and still have it keep up so you can chain vape. Whereas you might not necessarily be able to do that if you set up a capillary action wick. I hope this all makes sense, and this isn't going over anybody's head. But now, regarding the tilt versus capillary wicking, another thing to keep in mind, like I said, is the solid versus hollow wick or straw style wick. The solid wick is going to give you better capillary action. It makes sense. There's more material, there's more cells for the juice to wick up. Now, if you want to set up a tilt wick, a straw setup is going to work better. You have that channel that the juice can actually flow down the center, and you're going to get better juice flow via gravity and better wicking via gravity that way. So that's why I have this tilt setup with a hole down the center and very little mesh. I think I used, I don't even know if it was an inch wide piece of mesh that I rolled in here. So a bigger, well, you can chain vape on either, but it depends on your vaping style. So if you are trying to, let me take a step back. Ideally, you want to be able to create a wick that will keep up with your vaping without having to worry about how you position the atomizer. or position the mod in your hand. Sometimes you're not going to be able to attain that because of the design of the atomizer, the size of the wick hole, and how high a wattage at which you are vaping. So if that's the case, if you have something that's got a small wick hole and you doesn't have the ability to set up a U wick, then you will probably have to tilt, and to get better wicking from a tilt, then you would want to set up a hollow wick. Does that all make sense? I hope this all makes sense. So, like I said, I've got a hollow wick set up in here. Now, before, I had a U wick set up. The U wick is a little more involved, but this one has, and I put a plug in one of the holes here, but this one has this is the synthesis, by the way. This has a 2 wick holes, if I can get it to focus there. And what I did was I actually plugged one of them with a piece of mesh so that when I did the tilt it didn't just leak out of that hole, so that I could show this to you guys here. But you can set this up with a U wick if you want to. You can also set it up with dual wicks if you want to. But I am doing my little tilt wick here. So, but I have this set up with a 0.8, 0.9 ohm coil on it. You know, even though it has a smaller wick hole, it's somewhere between a 2 and a 2.5 millimeter. Faceless, you're in the room. I'm actually not sure what the wick hole size is in standard. Too many European mods. My brain is metric now, but it is 2.5. Okay. So it's got a 2.5 mil wick hole on it, which is not tiny, but it is on the smaller side, you know, with some going up to 3 and 3.5. So if you want to do a high wattage vape, if you don't want to set up a U wick, it's beneficial to set up the, you know, hollow wick, like I said, with a lower grade of mesh. So I actually have this set up with 325 and a hollow wick, and it is wicking great, and I can chain vape it. Right, 3 mil on the iHybrid. And as you can see, I'm getting fantastic vapor production from it. And it's really very good vapor production from it. So it's really trial and error, though, because what's going to happen is, you know, once you find the wattage that you like to vape at, then you have to, you know, depending on the wick hole and the design of the mod and how the airflow works in the mod, whether that creates some kind of suction and assists with the wicking or not, you know, you have to kind of feel out what mesh grade and how much of a hole down the center of it you want, whether or not it can keep up with the solid mesh. So really, you know, it's different for every atomizer, and it's something that you kind of, you know, will get the hang of over time as you try different atomizers out. Like one example that's kind of interesting, and I'm not sure specifically what it is about the design of the atomizer. I know part of it is that it has a large wick hole, but there's something about the AC9 that causes it to wick extremely well. And I actually had over-wicking issues even with a solid wick of 500 mesh at 0.9 ohms. So I actually had to make a solid wick of 325, I think, and not tilt it at all, just to prevent it from over-wicking. And you'll know if you're over-wicking because it'll, you know, when you fire it with the cap off, it'll just like sizzle and you won't get a lot of vapor production off of it. And you'll also notice that you won't be exhaling a lot of vapor. So Again, I'm not sure specifically what it is about the design that does that. I'm assuming it has something to do with the air circulation inside the chamber that's causing some kind of suction and helping with the wicking. Another example of that is the Silver Dog that we talked about last week. You know, there are a lot of things that I complained about with that device, but one thing that I did like about it, and I think it was due to the center location of the wick, maybe, the way that the air circulates and flows through the top chamber, that you're getting some kind of suction that's helping pull the juice up. But I mean, it's got a really, really small wick hole, and I set it up with I actually set it up first with a tilt style wick, and I was getting over wicking. So then I set it up with a very small solid wick of I think I used 500 mesh for that, and it was at 0.9 ohm, and no wicking issues at all. I mean, you guys saw last week on the show, I was chain vaping that thing like crazy. So yes, and the fill hose size also does play a role in the wicking, and that's probably another thing with another reason why the AC9 wicks so well, because the fill hole on it is gigantic. In fact, it's so big that Eric can fit his schlong in it. That's Big Balls Eric, by the way, that's talking in chat right now. But yeah, it's a little too big, I think. The octopus wicking on the SmokeTech RDA or something else. Oh, you mean like what I set up last time with the 8 strands of cotton? That's the easiest way to set it up. With the materials that I had on hand, and I do like that bamboo cotton. I find it wicks very well, but typically I've actually been setting drippers up with mesh now, which is a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but it does I find it gives you a little bit cleaner flavor. So, but yes, that would be a good way to set up the SmokeTech RDA, just like I did with the ERA back on that. Back on that. God, that was my first show, I think. Well, you've been watching my show all this time, Dark Moon. That's awesome. But anyway, so back to the mesh. Let's see. Tilt versus no tilt, solid versus straw, gravity versus capillary. Now, another thing that I've noticed, and this is a little bit, I don't know how true this is. You know, I assume that this is not true, but this has been my experience. So, if you look at mesh, it doesn't matter what size. If you just look at it, you'll see that the lines on the mesh are more pronounced going in one direction. Let me see if I can show it to you here, if you can even see this. Let me grab some of the 200 I've got here. So if you take a look at this 200 mesh, if you can see that, can you see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but can you see how the vertical lines on it are more pronounced than the horizontal lines? Hopefully you can see that in the picture here. So I have found that if you build the wick so that those the more pronounced lines are vertical in the wick, it'll wick better. I don't know why that is, but I have noticed that to be the case, and it's pretty significant too. I mean, it's noticeable. It's not you know, it's definitely not just in my head, even though I know I'm crazy and need to be medicated, but in this case I'm certain that it's true. So something to keep in mind. Couldn't get a U-wick to work until, yeah, you got to cut the U-wick at a 45-degree angle. That's different. I'm talking about for a straight wick only here, that you want to have that vertical. If you're doing a U-wick, you have to cut it at a 45-degree angle, or else you're going to have issues with it kinking when you bend it. Much easier to prevent those kinks in the hose if you cut it at a 45-degree angle, for sure. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to cover about the mesh. If you guys have any more questions too, feel free to pipe up. I have some notes here. I want to make sure that I talked about everything I wanted to cover. So just to kind of sum it up, capillary versus gravity. Higher the mesh grade, you get better capillary action, which is vertical anti-gravity, if you want to call it, wicking. Lower mesh grade wicks better downward. Solid wick wicks better upward. Hollow wick wicks better downward. Haven't noticed a big difference. I know someone mentioned something about the flavor being different for a hollow wick versus a solid wick. I haven't noticed there a difference in the flavor unless it's an issue with whatever type of wick you set up over wicking. Then you won't get as much flavor because you're basically flooding the coil. So it really has to do with whether you get the right level of wicking from the wick that you make. It's not really about solid versus hollow. Let's see. Oxidizing the wick, it depends on the device. There are some devices where you can get away with not oxidizing it at all. I mean, you can get away with not oxidizing it at all on any device, but there are some devices where it's easier to do that. Typically, if the device has an insulator in the wick hole, then it's going to be a lot easier to do a non-oxidized wick. But you can do it on any device. I have noted, as I've gotten better and better at making wicks and building coils, I oxidize less and less. Now, usually what I do is I'll just do I just torch once where the wick is touching the diaphragm of the atomizer and also where the coil is going to be wrapped, and then I pulse fire to get the shorts and the hot spots out once I fire it up. So if you're going to be doing pulse firing, though, make sure you do it on a low voltage battery. I did it on a fully charged battery, pulse firing on a 0.9 ohm coil, and that was not. I didn't even realize it was happening, but I was pulse firing it to get this one short out, and then I realized that where that short was, the coil had actually cut the wick almost all the way in half. It was pretty amazing, actually. When I pulled the wick out, it was like right there. It had been split in two and was just kind of hanging. It was pretty cool, actually. But so make sure you use a low voltage battery, one that is not freshly charged, if you're going to be doing a pulse fire oxidation. So I'll take another puff off of this, and then we'll start talking about the synthesis. Yes, actually, Ruff makes a good point there. If you are having wicking issues, take the fill plug out. I mean, 99% of the time that's going to improve the wicking, because the juice is, you're actually creating a vacuum if you have the fill plug in. The juice can't come out because there's nowhere for the air to go into the tank to replace the juice if you have the fill hole in. Unless you have a wick that is not that is significantly smaller than the wick hole. That's the only way that you could get air in there. So the synthesis. It's pretty awesome. So, if you're not familiar with the synthesis, let me take this off here. Show you what it all comes with. So the synthesis, designed by Faceless, who is in the room, so if you have questions specifically for him, he could probably, or questions about the synthesis, I'm sure he can answer them better than I can. So this is the synthesis. This is what the atomizer looks like, okay? It is, and obviously not, disregard the drip tip. This is the synthesis here, okay? It's got a very large juice capacity. I think it's about 4 milliliters, even though on 310 it says 3 to 3.5, but I'm pretty sure I fit 4 in there. You know, it looks like it has a huge top cap, but it's not a huge top cap because it's got a pretty good sized diaphragm. So, you know, the top chamber is not gigantic, as you can see there. It's designed to take either single wick, dual wick, or U wick. As I showed you guys before, it's got the 2 negative screws, as you can see there. And I've got it. There you go. And then the fill hole. I like that it doesn't have hex screws anymore, which is nice. It's all Phillips head. And it comes with, it does not come with a 510 base, and I believe this is something that Faceless is going to be making available in the future, is a 510 base for the Synthesis. But the way it's designed is it comes with a threaded bottom, okay? And I believe that this is, you know, where the name comes from, the Synthesis, because you know, essentially it synthesizes with your mod and turns your mod into a hybrid, essentially. So you don't have the issues with voltage drop that you would get using a atomizer with a 510 connection. So I'm using it on top of a bare brass mod. There are a number of mods that you can use this in conjunction with. Anything with, I believe it's a 22 millimeter that has metric threading, you'll be able to thread this onto. So GP Paps, a Gus 22, a bare brass mod, a Caravella. I'm sure there are others as well that you can thread it onto. Stock with the standard threading, and it also comes with an adapter, which I'll show you here in just a second. So what does it all come with? You get the atomizer, which you see here. I'll put the top cap back on. Okay, as you can see, it's got either stainless steel or brass tank sleeve, which, as you can see, I have the brass one, and it has the iHybrid I on there, which the iHybrid has become known for. It also comes with, and this is very similar to the Caravella, but it also comes with different size center pins. So basically, you can change out and adjust the length of the pin that's in the bottom. It's not telescoping, but it does thread in and out, so not only do you have the 3 different sizes, but those 3 different sizes can be adjusted to compensate for variances in the length of your battery, so that you don't get any... Hear that? That's right, you don't hear shit, because there is no battery rattle. And I'm using the middle length brass pin right now with an 18500 eFest battery in the bare brass mod, and it fits perfectly, and it looks awesome, and it looks like a hybrid. It doesn't quite match up color wise anymore, the brass, because I hold the bottom, I don't hold the tank sleeve, so the patina is growing a little faster on the mod itself, but they did used to be the same color. I'm gonna let them fade though, because I like the look of brass with the patina on there. So it also comes with a adapter. You can use this in conjunction with a rethreader and attach the device to a GGTS. And it also comes with a little decorative thread ring in either brass or stainless as well. I'll show you what that looks like on here. So if you like the look of the atomizer with just the juice visible and no tank sleeve, you can... Did I put it on upside down? Maybe I did. There we go. You can put that ring on there, and that will cover up the threading at the base of the atomizer there, where the tank sleeve screws in. Hold on a moment. So that's what comes with the synthesis. It's got a 2.5 millimeter wick hole, like Faceless was saying. Or it's got two of them rather, so you can do single or dual or U-wick, like I said. The top chamber on it is pretty standard size. It's not like super crazy reduced top chamber like you see on the Doodlebug and the Fogatti, but it is not a big honkin' top cap like you see on some other devices. It's got a, I believe, 1.5 millimeter air hole on it, Face. If that's not correct, you can correct me in chat. I'm gonna take another vape on it before I keep going. So, yeah, 1.5 mil is a good size. I like 1.2. I think I mentioned this earlier, actually. I like 1.2 to 1.5. That's kind of my sweet spot. Bigger than that, this is my personal opinion. Some people will disagree with me, but I personally think that if you want an air hole bigger than that, then you're just trying to impress people with the amount of vapor you can exhale. Because if you go larger than a 1.5 mil air hole, you really get a big, you know, you get an increase in vapor production, but you get a huge decrease in flavor. And I mean, I don't really, you know, it's cool to blow big clouds of vapor and whatnot, but I mean, like, I don't think you're impressing any ladies by, you know, doing your impression of a smoke-breathing dragon. It's, you know, I don't know. What do I know? That's just my opinion, and my opinion is worthless. But anyway, yeah, 1.2 to 1.5 is good. This is a 1.5. What do I think of it? It vapes fantastic. The fact that there is no 510 connection on this, you get next to no voltage drop, especially using it on something like the Bare Brass mod, where, you know, you have an all brass device, and then on top of that you have no 510 connection for it to go through, and you've got, you know, the brass pin that's connecting the top of the battery directly to the atomizer. It hits hard. It hits really, really hard. I, you know, oftentimes will vape at 0.8 ohms. It was actually a little too much. I was getting a little too much nick and getting some nick buzz off of it, so I had to recoil, and I think I'm at either at a 0.9 or a 1 right now, which may not seem like that big of a difference, but the lower you go, especially once you get down below like 1.2, 1.1 ohm, a 0.1 ohm difference is a huge difference in wattage. You can take a look at an Ohm's Law calculator to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, exactly. I like huge clouds of vapor, but I not at the cost of flavor. And Relentless selling your Cobra and ZIDU and getting a synthesis, I think, is a good idea, actually. I like this better than both of them. It is not a compact atomizer, but it's not too big like the Cobra 5 mil, which is like the size of a Pravari, which I think is just, I mean, it performs reasonably well, but the thing is so goddamn huge. But it vapes fantastic. The flavor is really good. I actually find the flavor on this to be better than on the iHybrid. It's probably because it's got a smaller top chamber. It makes sense to me. I would assume that's the case. I haven't had any wicking issues. Even setting it up with a single wick on a 2.5 millimeter, I haven't had wicking issues with it. With the U-wick setup before, it was I was even getting a little bit of overwicking, so that's great. Like I said, the no voltage drop though is the thing that's really impressed me the most about this. I'm gonna take another puff on it. The flavor is fantastic. Flavor's fantastic. the vapor production is fantastic. I'm getting a good throat hit. The throat hit obviously is going to have more to do with the juice that you use, but I use 6 milligram, and I use a higher VG blend because I don't know if I have an allergy, but PG irritates my sinuses, so I usually do higher VG, and it's fantastic. Some of the things that I like about it: 1, no voltage drop. 2, I like the smaller chamber, you get more flavor from it. 3, I really like the look. I like that you're turning your device into a hybrid. Just looks-wise, performance aside, I love the look of the tank sleeves, but you know, that's just I just like the look of those on iHybrids in general. But some other things that I like: the fact that it has a tank sleeve that's not, I mean, it's aesthetically pleasing, yeah, but I've dropped this. I'm usually really careful with my mods. I dropped this today. 1, the top cap didn't pop off, which surprised me, and the glass was fine. So it's protecting the tank. There's so many devices where you have the exposed glass, and if you drop it, you know, you're shit out of luck. And nobody wants to have to carry around extra glass tanks, so the tank protector on it is really, really nice. I like that it has the, and this is, you know, basically a feature of any device that does not have a threaded top cap, but you have adjustable throat hit. So if you want to, you know, you can decrease the vapor production and increase the throat hit by turning the wick hole that you see there so that it is not lined up with the wick. So if I wanted to increase the throat hit, maybe turn it off to the side a little bit there, take a vape. It's still good, still good vapor production, but much more throat hit. In fact, that stung a little bit. What else do I like about it? Double O-ring at the top there. The top cap does not pop off, which is an issue with a lot of the adjustable throat hit atomizers. And it's on there really snug. In fact, I think it would probably be snug enough with just the one, but I mean, I'm giving this a good shake, and that's not going anywhere. What else? I mean, I think that pretty much covers everything. I like that it has a really large juice capacity. I mean, this is, you know, you sacrifice a little bit of compactness of the device for a little bit more juice capacity. However, you don't end up with a device that's taller overall. Necessarily depends on what other atomizers you're using, because don't forget, you're losing, you know, that top cap off of the device by using the synthesis, because it's screwing directly into the device. So the atomizer itself might be a little bit bigger, but the length of the device overall is still going to be about the same as if you were to use something a little bit smaller and then use it on the 510 connection top cap there. What do I not like about it? Sorry, face. I got to keep my reviews. Got to keep the reviews honest. I do wish it was a little more compact. You know, like I just said, it does compensate for the fact that it is very big by allowing you to remove that top cap, which is going to decrease the size of the device overall. However, I do wish it was a little more compact. Maybe if there was a way to reduce the inside of the top chamber a little bit to make the flavor a little sharper, but it's not a huge issue because it's not like I'm having issues with the flavor being muted like I have on some other devices like the NGP and some of the Zen products. I've had issues with the flavor being muted. I don't have that problem here because I think, because it's narrower in addition to being a little tighter. But if the top cap maybe were reduced a little bit more, maybe give it a little more sharp flavor, and you get maybe a little bit warmer vapor from it. Honestly, that's really it. I mean, little things that I've had issues with on other atomizers, I have not had any problems here. Not have any issues with leaking. I have not had any issues with drip tips fitting, which I've had issues with on a number of different devices. I haven't had any problems with any looseness of the parts. Everything fits really snug. The threading's really clean on it. Even though just the look, I think it's a really nice looking atomizer. And to top that off, pardon the pun, you're turning your device into a hybrid look, which a lot of people prefer. So, I mean, one thing that you can say about this device that's really cool, and not a lot of people have really talked about this, but if you are price conscious, which a lot of us are, and you had a 22 millimeter mod already, like you had a PAPS already, or you had you probably wouldn't have a Caravella if you're trying to save a few bucks, but like a GP PAPS or a Gus 22 or something like that, a lower cost, higher end device, and you want a hybrid, you don't have to spend $250 to $300 to get a hybrid. You can just buy the synthesis, put it on top of your PAPS, or put it on top of your Gus 22 or whatever the devices that you have for $150, and now you've got a hybrid, and it performs like a hybrid. It doesn't just look like a hybrid. That's the big thing. It also performs like a hybrid. Because you're eliminating that 510 connection and the voltage drop that you get from the 510 connection, no matter how small it is. Some devices it's minimal, like the Chiu and the Caravella, a very minimal voltage drop, but there is still some there. You don't get that voltage drop from the 510 connection because there isn't one. So, if you are on I wouldn't say a super tight budget, because it is still a $150 atomizer. It's not cheap, but for someone that's already got the 22 mil mod, and you want a hybrid instead of buying sorry, Faceless, maybe instead of buying an iHybrid, you could just buy a synthesis and make yourself a hybrid, which I think is pretty awesome. Gotta take another vape on it because it's very tasty. Yeah, again, reduced top chamber, maybe. I'm getting good flavor from it though. Speaking of which, I'm vaping Pumpkin Tumble right now from Allison Vapeland, which I think is available in the C room now. If you haven't tried it, it's really freaking good. So yeah, that's the synthesis. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any questions about it that maybe I can answer. Just so you guys know how I do my reviews, what I do is I start using a new device the day after, or at the latest 2 days after my show, so that I have almost a week to use it and discover maybe any issues that I have with it, so that I can speak relatively intelligently about it. So I do need to spend some more time with it. Like I said, I've had it for less than a week, and this is the case with all the reviews that I do on here, with very few exceptions. But yeah, you know, it's not just a first look. I have been using it for 5 days now, and it's fucking great. Well done, Faceless. It's a really nice atomizer, and I actually, as much as I hate to say this, I think that you get better performance from this than you do from the iHybrid. Just the flavor profile, it's much more pronounced. I've got, you know, my Hellraiser sitting over there, and I've got Pluid in it. Love it. Looks awesome. Vape's awesome. It doesn't taste muted, but the flavor is just not as sharp as you get from the synthesis. So, well done, well done. Yeah, for real, Naughty. I think it performs better. I think it performs better than the iHybrid itself. So, and I say that now, keep in mind, I say that not being someone that dislikes the iHybrid. I think the iHybrid is one of, if not the best hybrid performance-wise available on the market right now, and I think that this performs better. So, so yeah, that's the synthesis. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. If not, then I'm going to move on, but I'll give you guys a second to chime in if you have any questions about it. Yep, that's good stuff. Alright, cool. Well, if nobody's got any questions, if you think of anything, we have our little open discussion for the last 15 minutes of the show, so we'll talk about it then. But, for now, we're going to do a giveaway. Now, this is a little bit different. This is actually not a brand new sponsor, but it's a brand new giveaway. So here's the way that this is going to work. Instead of giving away a specific item, Vape Syndicate is going to be giving away a gift certificate. Now, the way it works is it's a gift certificate for $5.99 plus free shipping. So it's about like 10, 11 bucks, okay? It is enough to buy a 10 milliliter bottle of one of their juices if you want to buy one of their juices. Or, if you want to, you can apply it to something else if you want to get something else. So if you want to save it for when Vape Syndicate has some of their drip tips go up on the website and use it to get a discount on a drip tip, you can do that. Or if you want to buy juice, buy juice. He's only got a couple flavors up there right now. Puts a lot of effort into his flavors, which I like to see. He's got 2 on there right now. I love the names. He's got one called Jungle Fever, and he has one called Throat Yogurt, which I think that name is hilarious. I haven't tried the Throat Yogurt yet, but it's an RY4-ish type of vape. The Jungle Fever is a banana tobacco mix. You know, it came up in the show last time. People said, you know, is it like Gorilla Juice? I haven't had Gorilla Juice. It is not as thick as AVE's juices. It's not that super thick 100% VG. It's awesome though. I liked it a lot, and I'm not a tobacco vapor, so for me to like it means it's got to appeal to a wide variety of people. So anyway, we'll give it away. The way this will work is, you pick your you pick a number just like we do for all the giveaways. The winner, I'll send you a PM with my email address. Just respond to my email, and I'll send you a coupon code that you'll be able to use to get the $5.99 plus free shipping off of a purchase from Vape Syndicate. Okay, so let me. I already refreshed the page here. We'll do a number from 1 to 50 again. When I say go in chat, then pick a number from 1 to 50. Keep them rolling. Give everybody a few more seconds to get their numbers in. Just one number, please. We'll go with your first one, Keegan. Alright, come on. Terrible. Alright, we'll go with 25 for Keegan. And stop. Oops, he says. Were you rolling your face on the keyboard there, dude? Alright. Let's see. What do we got? We're gonna go with 25 for your number because that was the first one you put in there, Keegan. Alright, 33. Let's see what we got. There's a 35. 31. I think that's the two closest. So we got Rough and Wicked Vapor. I'm just taking another look real quick. Alright. Alright, so Rough and Wicked Vapor. I want you guys to pick a number from 1 to 10 when I say go in chat. Yeah, Wicked Vapor was also 2 away. She had a 37. So, we'll do number from 1 to 10, Rough and Wicked Vapor. Pick your number. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, that's right. Sorry, I thought I saw somebody else with that got the number right. Both 6s. Alright, yeah, let's try that again. After I say go. There we go. You want to stick with 7, Wicked? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure you put it in after I said go. Watch this be a 6. Oh, 1. Alright. Rough, congratulations. I'm going to send you my email right now in a PM in chat. And just reply to that email, and then I will send you the coupon code for you. There you go. Hold on a sec. Okay, cool. So, moving on. Let's see, what do we got up next? Bear Brass mod. So, the Bear Brass mod. I love the number on this. Come on, focus. Doesn't want to focus for me. Come on, you bugger. What the hell? Well, it's 007, so I love that. I am a bit of a Bond fan, so... Oh, okay. Alright, Lily Boo. Yeah, somebody PM me and said that you didn't know how to get a hold of me, so... yeah, if you already sent the information over there after the show, I'm gonna send that on to Allison Vapland for your winnings. So this is a 18500 Bear Brass mod that I've got right here. It is 18500 007. As you can see, it has built up a little bit of patina on there already. It was once brushed and just as bright as the top cap or the bottom cap looks there, but no longer. Let's see, the Bear Brass mod. So, first of all, I love brass. It does, you know, it conducts better than stainless, and I just love the look of it. I really like the look of tarnished brass. Yeah, Lily Boo, you won the little RBA from Allison Vapeland. So, Hey Vince, I'm getting that chat bounce again. Can you do a chat clear? So, the Bear Brass mod. I'm going to take the synthesis off of this just so that you can see what the mod looks like on its own. Thank you, sir. So, the mod is, you'll never guess what it's made of. It's solid brass. Top to bottom. Let's get the top cap back on here so you can see it. This is what the Bear Brass mod looks like. My autofocus is not behaving today. So this is the brush finish. Let's try this. There we go. You can see the 007 on there. And that top cap, that's what it looked like when I got it. The bottom cap is starting to grow a little bit of patina on there. And then you have the bottom cap, which has this cool little logo on it here. Which won't focus. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, there you go. You got it a little bit. It's a little bear face. Looks pretty cool. The top cap is slotted. So if you want to use it with something that's got air holes in the 510 connection, you can. However, if you look at it from the side like that, you can see that it is not raised at all. So Genesis style atomizers will fit flush, and it's 22 millimeter diameter. So any 22 mil atomizer is going to look really nice on there and fit on it as if it were, you know, give it that kind of hybrid look, like the Senesis and not Synthesis, Senesis, and the Doodlebug and the Fogati, and the Stratus 22 that's coming out. So all of those you'll be able to get it to sit flush and look like a hybrid. Why can you make it look like a hybrid and sit flush? Because it has this inside the top cap. Okay? This is similar to the Qi U. It's got a telescoping bottom pin. Okay? So, now, it's not just adjustable, it's telescoping. And if you saw my Chi-Yu review, you'll know what I mean by that. So not only can you adjust the overall length by turning this little end bit here, okay, but you can actually adjust the piece that comes up from inside the 510 connection with the inner ring there. So you can turn the whole unit, and then you have the little bottom one that screws into that. So the top one allows you to adjust the so the atomizer sits flush. Basically, you just unscrew that, then you screw your atomizer in until it's flush, and then you tighten this back down. Okay, and then you can adjust this bottom pin. You can maybe see there. If we get a focus, maybe. Well, you already saw, whatever. Screw you guys. But the bottom pin, you can then adjust so that it keeps the battery from rattling around, which, as you saw when I was talking about how I like that about the Synthesis earlier, I am a fan of not having to deal with battery rattle. Now, not only do you not have battery rattle, but you don't have battery rattle, and it doesn't need a spring to do it. So you don't have a hot spring sitting in there, which is nice. So let me put that aside. And it comes with everything that you see. No crazy extras, but you get everything you need for the mod to operate smoothly. Let me show you what the inside of the button looks like. Brass connection. It's a brass screw. You can see where it's vented there. Okay. Now, what do I like about this? Aside from it being all brass, the throw on it, there is like none. Okay, so I want to tell you how awesome that is, especially because of the way that the battery is designed. So hold on a moment, I'm going to put this back on because I need a vape. So when I first got this mod, I was, I'm not going to lie, even though Bear Brass is in the room right now, I was not excited about the Switch. Okay, I didn't really love that there is no locks. There's no lock on it, and I didn't love that it's a little bit recessed. If any of you guys saw my review of the Machiavelli before the button upgrade came out, which I know it's completely coincidental, but I thought it was kind of funny that the button upgrade went live on Vaporwall the day after I bashed the bottom button in my review. But anyway, I thought that was just kind of ironic. Mac's a good guy, though. Kind of felt bad for bashing him, but like I said, I keep my reviews honest. So anyway, I was not thrilled with the bottom button when I first got it. I looked at it, I'm like, it's recessed. I'm gonna have to cram my finger up the bottom of this damn thing like I did with the Machiavelli to get it to fire. I like to be able to fire with my knuckle, my pinky knuckle, with my pinky knuckle like this, or like this, and I also like to fire with the palm of my hand, with the heel. Okay, you can't do that. However, not a big deal. I have fallen in love with this button design. I have never ever had it misfire. Okay, the slight recession of it is very, very minimal. You can see it's just very, very slightly recessed. Okay, it's very, very, very minor. But the thing that's awesome about it is the throw on it. There's like, it's so small. Like, look at how far you push this button in to get it to fire. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to focus here. You gonna focus for me? Alright, look at how... Christ. How am I gonna do this? There we go. Look how far I have to press that button in to get it to fire. That's firing. Okay? That's firing. and we're firing. Crazy. It's crazy. Very, very little. So, and because of that, I can, even though it's recessed, I can fire it with my pinky knuckle like this. So, I'll show you. Pretty sure it's firing fine. So, 0.040 inch throw. Fantastic. I love it. The other, I was concerned that it doesn't have a lock ring on it. However, the more I think about it, the more I've realized that I oftentimes forget to lock the lock switch on my devices when I put them down. Sometimes it's not a problem. With Zens, it's not a problem. With iHybrids, it's not a problem. But with some devices, like the PAPs, I put my device down, come back 2 minutes later, and wonder why it smells like, burning juice in the room, and then I grab my mod and burn my hand on it. So, yeah, I have had this in my pocket. I have not had it fire on me, and I really am not concerned with it, because it's got a really small throw, but it's recessed, like I mentioned, and it is a little bit stiff, but that's not a bad thing. It's stiff enough that if you just like tap the bottom, it's not going to fire, even though you only have to press it in a little bit to get it to fire. So I really like that about the Switch. And the fact that you don't need a lock switch, it's awesome. I'm going to take another vape. Hold on. It hits like a train. Oh, and part of that is because I'm using the synthesis on it, which also hits like a train. So the combination of these two devices together, I mean, between all of the brass and the fact that there's no 510 connection, I mean, I haven't actually measured the voltage drop, but you can just tell it hits hard. It's great. Like I said before, I actually went down 0.1 ohms, went up 0.1 ohms, and brought the wattage down because I was getting a buzz from it. Yes, it's available at all of these places. I am on the list over at Core Vape, personally. That's where I got mine. And I'm actually on the list for the Steampunk one too, because I think that copper looks fantastic. So performance is awesome. I really like the button, even though I didn't like it initially. I like that the top cap does have the slots, so if you do want to use it with something that's got airflow through the 510 connection, you can. The telescoping pin is really nice. It's just like the one on the Qi. I don't know if it's exactly the same design, but I'd have to compare the two, but it looks like it's a little bit different, but it functions just as well. It functions the same. All brass connections on the inside. The only issue that I have had with this device, and this is something that that I actually talked to Bear Brass Mods about, and I told him I was going to mention it on the show. The only problem that I have had with the device is, while I was doing some pulse firing to oxidize a wick, and the wick looked fine, and it was glowing evenly, and it didn't look like I had any shorts, any hot spots. Everything was nice and clean. But the bottom button was getting crazy hot. I let it sit for a little bit, and then I filled the synthesis with juice, fired it again, button getting crazy hot. I changed the battery, was still hot, so I knew it wasn't the battery. I rebuilt the coil because I thought that I had a short in the wick hole, you know, because I thought maybe the wick might have been touching the positive post, and the wick, you know, I was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I kept having the heat. So then I talked to Bear Brassmon on Facebook about it, and it turns out, and this makes sense. It's because the screw that's used in the switch, because they're, you know, it's not, he doesn't make the screws. I think, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a, I don't know, maybe like a M4 or an M5. Or it might be a domestic size. I'm not sure. You can chime in if you want to, Bear Brass. But because it's so close to the sides, apparently what was happening, I was getting some a little bit of conductivity in between the side of the screw and, you know, the switch on the internally. So what I did was I pulled the screw out, and I sanded the outside of the screw just a little bit to take off, and I noticed that it actually had like had a burr on one side, and that might have been where the issue was coming from. But sanded that down all the way around the sides. I mean, it took me maybe a minute to do, and now it's fine. I haven't had any problems with it since then. And I just want to point out that it's not an issue with the design of the product. I just got unlucky and got a screw that he's not manufacturing himself that had a little bit of a flaw on it. So just something to look out for. That's really the only complaint that I have about the device, though, and it was such a minor thing and so easily corrected that it's, you know, it's not a big deal. Everything else about it I love. I really like the Switch, even though I didn't think I was going to like the Switch. I don't think I like the Switch as much as I like the Switch on the Caravella. That's my favorite Switch of any device, on any device that I've ever used. But I will say that this is growing on me more and more, and I may change my mind about that, because I really like that you don't have to worry about locking it before you put it down. Cool. That's awesome, Bear. I mean, am I the only person that had that issue, or has anyone else? But yeah, I mean, it's an awesome product. Like I said, like pretty much everything about it. I mean, if you don't believe me, go look on Vaporwall. I'm on the list for more stuff. I want to get his hybrid, and I'm going to be getting the steampunk one as well. So, yeah. Good night, Monkey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think that pretty much covers it. It's really sturdy. It's brass, so you know, it will mar a little bit easier than stainless steel. It's a softer metal, so you know, I wouldn't throw it in your pocket with your keys. It's going to scratch up. But it is available in a brushed finish. So you know, I mean, you can always just, you know, you can brush it yourself to get rid of any, you know, nicks and scratches that you get. But I prefer brass, and I know what I'm getting into when I buy something that's brass, because it's a softer metal. So, so I don't know if there's more. I don't know if there's any more up right now. Is the steampunk list still open? And then he's also got the hybrid that's coming out. He just put an interest list up for now, but he's got a hybrid that'll be coming out at some point too, which I plan on getting my hands on. I'm not gonna show it to you, but I actually tested the prototype of the hybrid, and I was very impressed with the performance of that guy. So, oh, it is closed. Okay. Oh, Steamies. No, different steampunk. I'm talking about the Bear Brass mod steampunk, not the Steamies, not that steampunk. Different steampunk mod. Unless that's, or is that? Are you talking about Bear's List? Oh, okay. That's a pretty cool mod too. That's really kind of a, that's really more of a collector's piece though. I don't even, I mean, I'm on the list for one of the 18650 ones. I don't even know if I'd ever use it though. So Bear, is the steampunk list still open? I didn't see an answer to that. You might have said it in chat and I just missed it. Oh no, you did say the threads have closed. Sorry, I missed that. Okay. Well, I'm sure he's going to be making more. I know he's going to be doing another run of the brass ones fairly soon. They have become very popular, and for good reason. It's a great device. The 22 millimeter I think is a good size. It's a little sturdier than when you get some of the 20 and the 21 mil 18 XXX battery mods. The metal on those can feel a little bit cheap. Example, the Precise. The Precise is a really nice device. It's really well machined, but it feels a little, I don't know, I always worry I'm gonna hurt it because it feels really thin. But I like the 22 mil, and there's a lot of really nice 22 millimeter atomizers out there too, so you know, you can really make it look like a hybrid, or you can just get a synthesis and actually turn it into a hybrid. So yeah, that's the Bear Brass mod. If you guys have any questions about that, the guys in the room, if you have any questions about the synthesis, I think Faceless is still here, so you know, feel free to pipe up and chat. They can answer your questions better than I can. Let's do another giveaway. Let me take another vape first. Let's see here. Alright, so for this one we are going to do a giveaway from Boondock Vapes. Yes, one number please. Hold on a sec, let me do a refresh. So, Boondock Vapes. I have talked about these guys on the show before. First tried them at VaporCon. They do really good juice blends. If you're looking for juice recommendations, just let me know in, if you win, let me know in the email and I can recommend a couple of flavors for you. Let's see here. Oops. Shit. One sec, sorry. What the hell? So, when I say go, sorry about that, in chat, pick a number from 1 to 50, and go. And this is for a sampler from Boondock Vapes. Basically what you will be... Oh, Boondocks is in the room. Nice. Oh, we're going to do 2 for Valentine's Day. Awesome. Sorry, I'm having an issue with my chat right now. I have this giant block that says you have a chat request that's covering up my part of my chat, and I can't figure out how the hell to get it to go away. So, yeah. So there's that. We'll give it a few more seconds. And stop. Alright. Let's see. We got a lot of people pick 13. Let's see if we get 13. So, what I was saying, this is actually for 4 juices. 4 6-milliliter bottles from Boondock Vapes. And you get to pick the flavors that you want. Check out their website. It's boondockvapes.com. You can see the name right above me here. The fruit blends that I have had from them are awesome. I definitely recommend those. And like I said, if you want to, specific, if there's something specific you like and you're looking for a recommendation, just send an email to me. You'll have my email address if you win anyway. So, let's see. Alright, were there any other 15s? Just Rhonda? I'm scrolling through now. Oh, looks like that's it. Congratulations, Rhonda. Alright, so, hold on one sec. I'll shoot you a PM with my email address. Just respond to the email with the 4 flavors that you want, the NIC level that you want, the VG-PG ratio that you want, and don't forget to include your shipping address. So, here is my email address coming over right now. Alright, now, congrats, Rhonda. We're going to do another sampler pack from Boondock Vapes. When I say go and chat, let me do a refresh here. When I say go and chat, we'll do it again. Pick a number from 1 to 50. Give it a few more seconds. Get your numbers in. And stop. Alright, let's see. Winner of sample pack number 2 is 37. Alright, Civic 94 Civic got a 38. Oh, 37, Druzif. Oh, nice, dude. I didn't even know you were in here. I know that guy. Congratulations, Druzif. I'm gonna send you a PM with my email address. And just send me your shipping address, the 4 flavors that you want, and NIC content, VG-PG ratio. There you go, sir. Congratulations. 4 or 5. Oh, you guys... Boondock Vapes is getting crazy, giving away samples like it's going out of style. And these are 6-milliliter samples, by the way, so you'll be able to get a couple tanks out of each one. We actually went a little longer than I thought. I think I rambled on about the synthesis and the Bear Brass mods longer than I was expecting to. So we've got about 9 minutes left. And as always, at the end of the show, I'm going to open it up to questions, open discussion. Faceless and Bear Brass mods are both in the room, so if you guys have any questions about the Bear Brass mod or the synthesis, Any of the other devices that they are working on, the iHybrid from Faceless, anything else he might have in the pipe that I'm not aware of, Bear Brass Mods, Steampunk, and the brass hybrid that he's working on. Thank you very much. Yes, Boondock, that's awesome. Very generous of you. There's probably someone coming on after my show. I'm not sure though. So, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. T-Bolt's going to be coming on next. Oh, right. I almost forgot about the discount code too. So yeah, if you guys didn't win, Boondock Vapes is awesome. Just so you know, all of the vendors that are sponsors on my show, these are people that I have done business with in the past. These are not people that reached out to me to be sponsors on the show. I reached out to them, and they were generous enough to come on board as sponsors. So I recommend all of the vendors that sponsor the show. Boondock Vapes, like I said, awesome juice. They do a really good job. I fell in love with the mango at VaporCon, and that was it, pretty much. Then I ordered 2 giant bottles. They included a sample of something else. I like that too, and that was and the rest is history. And we lived happily ever after. So, yep, T-Bolt is filling in for Derp after this, so he'll be on from, I believe, 10 to 12 Eastern. So yeah. Any questions about anything? Actually, we got Eric in the room too. If you have any questions about the AFPV co-op over on Facebook, or on ECF, any questions about the mesh grade stuff that we talked about earlier, fire away. There you go, Synth. There you go, Faceless. When is the synthesis going to be coming back out? I love the horns, by the way, Boondock Vapes. That's actually one of my favorite ones. It really does taste like Red Bull. It's crazy. I want to like pour vodka in it and vape it, but that'd probably be a bad idea. You still there, Face? He might just be logged into chat and not be at his computer. I don't know. He also might not know the answer to that question, so... I still see him in chat. He's over on the right-hand side in chat on my screen. I sure did see the lot that went on auction for 3K. Yes, I did. That was actually hilarious. You guys will just get to sit and watch me vape then if you don't have any other questions. Yeah, it was a lot. It wasn't just one mod. It was a bunch of different mods. Still, it was definitely a lot of money. Actually, you know what? Before we wrap up, I'll give you guys another sneak peek of what we're going to talk about next week. Or one of the things we're going to talk about next week, so if you guys want to tune in. So this is something that was brought to my attention on ECF. something that people are testing out right now for wicking material. It is stainless steel braided rope, and the results so far have been pretty good. You can't just use the rope. You have to wrap a little piece of mesh around it because of the spacing, since it's not smooth on the outside here. But yeah, apparently it wicks awesome. We're gonna try it out next week. Well, I'm gonna try it this week, and we'll talk about it next week. So, show the hybrid. Oh, sure. All right, hold on a sec. Grab it. So this is the Bear Brass hybrid. Now, keep in mind, this is a prototype. He has made a number of changes since this, but this is what it looks like. He has made some design improvements, aesthetic improvements, and he has made a number of improvements to the device based on feedback as well. Reduced the top chamber. He also made the wick hole larger, and reduced the throw on the switch as well. So let me get it. And the drip tip I got on there is actually one of the little glass ones from Allison Vapeland. But here, take a look. This is the prototype Bear Brass Mod hybrid. It doesn't have the fancy engraving on the bottom because it's a prototype. It's very sad. I'm hoping I can trade it in for a newer model. Maybe maybe they'll pay off my trade no matter how much I owe. So. Yeah, it's nice, and actually the finish on the other one, on the not the real one, on the final version actually looks a little bit nicer. I like the finish on the Bear Brass mod nicer than the finish on this, or more than the finish on this, and I'm pretty sure that is what the hybrid is going to look like when it's all done. So it vapes amazing. And the improvements that he made to it are going to make it vape even better. But it hits like a fucking train. I mean, it hits really hard. I mean, it's solid brass, top to bottom, solid brass. It hits really, really hard. So, yeah, be prepared to maybe bump up the ohms from what you're used to if you're going to vape on the Bear Brass Mod hybrid. So, yep, and I like the stacked air holes a lot too. But it is 10 p.m., so it's time to wrap up. Thank you guys for coming by tonight. Next week we are going to talk about, well, one of the things we're going to talk about next week is the Doodlebug. I will be reviewing the Doodlebug next week, and the mod that I'm going to review next week I'm not sure of yet. We'll see. Maybe the roller, it may be the 69 mod, it may be something else, but it definitely will be with the Doodlebug. So, thank you guys for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the show. And T-Bolt is going to be filling in for Derp starting as soon as I give him the all clear. So, thank you guys again. And, yeah, have a good night. Stay vapey.